Hey guys, this is Daniel with Perspective. So today I want to talk about the smear and the use of the word Bernie bro, but I really also want to make a conversation between you and me about beyond just Bernie bro and smears, stereotypes, and insults in general, and what people are using what when. So let's start with Bernie bro, because when we're talking about it, everyone's already aware of the term. Let's start with the history of Bernie bro, which always seems to be forgotten. Bernie bro actually started in 2008 when it was Hillary Clinton running against Barack Obama. And the term that the Hillary camp came up with that was used in the media and the press was Obama boy. And I'm not sure what you think, but there's a lot of historical baggage with calling black people boys, but let's not delve into that too much. So we have, back in 2008, Hillary people would attack with that term, these Obama boys, these thuggish young Obama boys that are taking away the dignity of this office and making things difficult. They're being aggressive, and it sounds a little bit similar, doesn't it? So what happened? Well, in 2016, it was simply upgraded. It's not Obama, she's not running against Obama anymore, and they're not boys because they're not black. It's Bernie bros, these college-aged, misogynistic white dudes that are the stereotype of who Bernie Sanders supporters are, which is, in the media, these caustic, asshole-ish, left-wing, socialist white boys in college. That's like this picture that they've been painting for a very long time. And what do we get out of it? Well, we get a lot of people saying, oh, they're just a bunch of Bernie bros. They're just... You guys have heard these. I don't have to explain these to you too much. But I wanted to get to why it's so destructive for people to go down that route and how much it actually hurts the movement. So let's talk first. To call someone a Bernie bro that's a Bernie Sanders supporter is demeaning them. It's stereotyping them. Oh, if you're a white male, you're a male, and you're for Bernie Sanders, you're this. You've already been predefined. Doesn't matter that Bernie Sanders supporters are majority women and he has a very good swath of minority support. That's irrelevant because it's not the point. The point isn't to be accurate. The point isn't to call it as it's seen. It's to make an attack that makes people angry at a group and causes them to generalize using the tribal part of our brain. Because if you have to deal with Bernie Sanders point by point, it's pretty difficult to do if you're on the left. And I know that I've seen a lot of this building between people that support Warren and people that support Sanders. Now, I also want to put out Warren's camp brought a huge number of Hillary campaign people, brought them over to that campaign. So that's one part. And the second is that Warren's, not specifically Warren's camp, but people around Warren and the news have increasingly ratcheted up this attack, which is that similar, it's almost a carbon copy to what happened with Hillary, that if you don't like Warren, it's not because of any reasonable reason, it's because you're sexist. And who are the sexist people in this world? Bernie bros. So what does this do? What is the outcome of this? Well, first point, if you're a Warren supporter and you're using this, congratulations, you're lowering her vote count if she does win the primary. Why is that? Well, if all you do is call Sanders supporters Bernie bros or this or that, they just won't vote for you. And then you'll blame them for not voting in a free society. And I want to just put this out there again because it seems to get brought up all the time that the Bernie Sanders supporters abandoned Hillary, even though 24% of Hillary supporters in 2008 refused to vote for Barack Obama, yet only 12% of the Bernie bros, those sexist people, refused to vote for Hillary Clinton. So it's twice as good as what Hillary offered, and that's just plain old statistics. So what do we have in front of us? We have a term that is used incorrectly, ignoring the racist history of the term to have a political outcome, just like war. They are using this to create an enemy out of very, very similar bases for the most part. I mean, obviously Sanders is a bit more left of Warren, but they're very close bases and they're very good friends. So why am I bringing this up? What's this video about? Why are we going into this the way that we are? Well, here's what I've also noticed. A lot of the people that I have followed since 2016 who were virtuous, good people who took the time to look through these, to not generalize, to make the best case for their candidate, many of them are going sour. They're becoming cynical. They're becoming selfish. And why do I say selfish? It's an interesting term. They're becoming selfish because when you attack people with Bernie Bro, or again, any topic, could it be libtard, could be anything out there. Again, I want to make the point that this is a microcosm of a greater, more universal issue. They are acting like corporations. They care more about the short-term satisfaction that they get by feeling good about calling out someone that they don't like, even if it's not accurate, while forgetting the point of getting someone elected, which is to get the most people on your side. So they are sacrificing the campaign that they say that they support so that they can feel better about themselves. And so that's a very important reason why you have to call out people that use these kind of slurs and stereotypes in general, especially if they're on the same side as you. So if I see people that support Bernie Sanders that just shut down, for example, Tulsi Gabbard, I know a few people that have done that. I say, why are you doing that? They have basically the same audience. You want that audience to overlap onto itself so that if Tulsi or Bernie has to drop out, there's an easy way for those bases to commingle and join together to become something stronger. But if all that's happening is fighting has been created and that's what we're dealing with, you're just going to have less of that. So that's a big point. These people are being selfish that use these. They're being stereotypical. That means they're being tribal. So when you see someone, especially on our end, because it's much harder to call out people that we already disagree with, but whoever you support, whether you support Bernie Sanders, whether you support Tulsi, whether you support Warren, whether you support Yang, it's in the candidate's best interest that you're not a dick to the other side. It seems pretty straightforward. I mean, I have my opinions on every single candidate, and I've said them on the show, but I try to keep them based on the candidate and not the audience or this or that. It doesn't help anyone. I don't want to make a message about Pete Buttigieg and piss off people on his side. If the story is not right, that's a waste of my time. It's a waste of resources in general. So what do we do about this, guys? Again, I'm just speaking specifically on behalf of Bernie Bro commentary, but again, make this as universal as you need it to be. This is the act of people who have, generally speaking, and I don't mean to stereotype here, given up and become so cynical. In the end, all I'm really trying to say is we all have to do what we can to build a better future, not to tear down someone else's. The only way we win is by winning. It's up to us to ensure that we don't fall in this same trap. We have to stay optimistic in the long term that we can succeed and will succeed, and believe in ourselves and our ability to change the world person to person, each of us on our own, almost irrelevant, but together powerful. We can do it. Again, in Chicago, I'm blown away. We have a new governor and mayor, which it's like I'm still trying to accept that they're actually doing progressive things. We have 10% of our aldermanic seats are from people in DSA. I feel like we're living in a time right now that we're going to look at very differently in 20 or 30 years, maybe 10 years. And I can only believe, and this is my own optimism, that in that 10 or 20 years or 30 years in the future, we're going to look back on this moment and say, this was a moment where we defined ourselves and who we are, and who was I in that moment, and what are you going to say about yourself in the future, looking back to now? Are you going to say that you did everything you could to make the world a better future, if all you can do is share stuff on social media, all you can do is donate to this or that, or just donate a few hours to volunteer for a campaign that you support, if that's all you can do, then that's the most that you could do at this time right now. But you don't want to look back and say, I hated that period because of all this group of people that I didn't like. What's the point in that? Guys, let's all do what we can to build a better future. Not just for ourselves, but everyone around us. This is Daniel with Perspective. Stay optimistic, do your very best, and don't become bitter. It's so much pressure makes people bitter, and I understand that not everyone can handle this. Not everyone can do this long enough without feeling like everything's a personal attack, and I see it in many people around me, and I'm very fortunate that I'm not one of them. I'm still optimistic. I still believe a better future is out there, and that's why I'm fighting for it. Because if I didn't, I might just fight other people. See you guys. Hey guys, do you like the video? If so, be sure to give us a sub and hit the bell for notification. You know how YouTube is. And if you have the time, check us out on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages, and check us out at hardlensmedia.com. Be sure to check out our Patreon if you really support what we do and want to support us at independent media